This is another episode of Actual Proper Podcast. Myself, Reece, Farkash, and Twila, Amato.
Hi.
So, this weekend is a big weekend, not just for us, but for Canada. Now, what's big for us is the reason why it's big for Canada is because it's Canada Day, tomorrow specifically, because this is recorded on Sunday, so it's going to be tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Canada Day, it's definitely my favorite holiday of any others. Thanksgiving is probably a close second. But, Canada Day is just so great.
What makes it good?
So, most other holidays you celebrate, with your family or with, a few people, like Halloween and stuff like that.
So does this mean you don't like celebrating with your family?
No, it's just more in, it's more spirit, when you're celebrating, with a whole city of people.
Right.
And, you're out there, there's, thousands of people. Everyone's having a good time. It's just a really special holiday. And it's always a lot of fun. So
Note, Reece is a party animal.
No, it's just, it's a fun place.
Uh-huh. What else do you like about it?
You get to see a lot of people who are typically not in your city, in a tourist city like ours. We get a lot of tourists in, and that's usually pretty neat for the most part when they're not, blocking traffic.
That's true.
Or, going to all the hot spots so locals can't. That's always pretty annoying. But glad they're having a fun time.
Yeah.
So what is your thoughts on Canada Day?
This is going to be my first time, celebrating Canada Day, I guess, away from a major city. So it's definitely going to be different because all the things that you said about, tourists and people, seeing people who aren't always here or just, a mass of just, people having fun. That's generally not fun in a big city because it's polluted, it's hot, and there's just way too many people. And all sorts of things happen, you become a pickpocket victim or things like that, you know? And so it gets kind of complicated, but I can sort of see where you're coming from in the sense that in a smaller city or in a town, it's more close-knit. There's obviously a lot less people. And the people who do come, like I said, are mostly tourists. And so there's generally a lot more polite people, I guess, in that way, who are a little more they pay deference, to your city, but also to your country, et cetera, et cetera. So I feel like I'm a little more excited about this because, it's more of a community endeavor than a huge corporate. Because in a bigger city, especially Vancouver, in Toronto, it becomes more corporate. It's a lot like Christmas, I guess, where it's become commercialized, and that's what it is in a bigger city. And so it doesn't feel very genuine, or it doesn't feel like, oh, we're going to have a lot of fun today, It's more just another day, but it's just, everything's just red. So, yeah.
That's actually pretty interesting because I've actually never celebrated a Canada Day in a big city. Besides, the biggest one would be Kelowna, and it was a big celebration, but it wasn't Edmonton or Vancouver or Montreal or Toronto sized for sure. And so I actually I've never seen that.
Montreal's
where
a
it's
little different
really
too
huge.
because
they
don't even celebrate Canada Day.
Yeah,
it's just another day.
The Quebec Day in
they have
what month is it again?
July 24th, I think. Or June 24th, where it's Saint Jean Baptiste Day. So it's.
Yeah, anyway, here, of course we do, the Santa Parade and that kind of stuff, but there's, the whole downtown is shut down, which is only a street. I mean, it's Campbell River. It's a small place.
Street.
But there's, all the local vendors, and, here on the coast, and especially on the island, there's so many, artisans and, local talent,
and
for art is insane here.
And that is actually something that is exciting to me because a lot of these things, they're local vendors and they're small time businesses, I guess, small businesses. And that is always really cool to kind of see them highlighted and kind of coming out to these huge events. Because again, in Vancouver, yes, there are vendors, but a lot of them usually are obviously very well established, Yeah,
and corporations and stuff.
Yeah. And you do have artisans, but they don't really make an appearance in things like Canada Day.
Totally.
Because, again, it's such a commercial thing. And so there's just not a lot of feeling behind it, I think. And just not a lot of community, I feel, in a bigger city. So this, like I said, is the first time that I'm really, truly, absolutely, excited for it.
Yeah. So, in our city, here in Campbell River, it's all, locals, essentially. And there is vendors with a market, everyone has tables having fun. There is people who do like there's always activities going on like games and stuff like that. There's always car shows going on in the same place. There is so much music and performances going on just throughout the entire day, like in so many areas. There is just so much more. There's way more spirit in like the small town one compared to the city one, for sure. Because like of course we also do the parade and stuff, but there's so like it's taking up all of tomorrow from like 10 a.m. to like 10 p.m. Like it's a festival. There's stuff going on the whole day, fun stuff, and then there's also called the night before, which is like going on tonight. There is so much more like fun activities and stuff like that going on, and it's just like it's more of a festival than it is like
just one day celebrations.
Exactly, or like even a corporate thing. Like it's just like everyone's just having fun with the community.
Yeah. But also, like, I guess in a bigger city too, things like Canada Day and you know, those celebrations, they tend to be more of a show for like, I guess, how bougie one can get.
Yeah.
You know? And
totally.
It's, like I said, it just doesn't really feel very real or genuine. So, my first Canada Day here is like I am looking forward to it. Like maybe not so much baking in the sun. That's not very pleasant. I get heat exhaustion.
Yeah, and
like,
which we'll
easily.
talk about in a little. I just want you to finish this first.
Yeah, and like I get sunburns really, really easily, and so that's not something that I'm looking forward to. So yeah, I mean, even now, like I have a headache from like just walking outside for a little bit because it's so hot. But I am looking forward to tomorrow. So
yeah, so that's another thing that we wanted to talk about, which is heat exhaustion, and of course, heat related sickness. Or heat sickness is what it's also called. But that's something that a lot of people don't. It's such a hard thing to kind of pin down in the moment. Like, you never are going, like, throughout the day, you're in the heat a lot. And then, like, when you come in and then it's, like, an hour later, you start to feel tired or, like, all this stuff. You don't feel it coming on. You feel good out there in the sun until it hits you. And then you're sick, you know? You're tired. You're feeling nauseous. You have the headache. All that stuff, it doesn't slowly come on. Like you can't feel it, and sometimes like when you're out in the sun, you don't feel yourself getting too hot, and that's something that you really have to watch out for: is staying hydrated and finding shade, even though you don't feel like you need it.
Hydrate. Oh my goodness, always drink water. No, but sometimes I guess I don't know. Maybe it's because I pay attention to myself in the sun, but I can definitely feel a headache coming on, or like myself getting, you know, heat sick or whatever, or sun sick when I'm out in the sun. Like just this past weekend, I visited my family in Vancouver, and we went to a lake and then to another beach. And I remember everybody, like my siblings and my parents, my aunt, they were all just like out there having fun. But I had to remove myself from that and find shade because I just couldn't take it. Like I was starting to feel dizzy and faint, and like the edges of my vision. So what ends up happening is like the edges of my vision kind of start turning kind of like white, you know? And I was starting to get a headache. So I was just like, I gotta go find shade. And they were like, you just don't want to tan. And I'm like, I don't care about tanning. I care about my health. I don't want to faint in the middle of like a beach, you know? So I'm like, I am gonna find shade. But yeah, like you said, a lot of people don't like, I guess that gets easily discounted, you know, because like it's the sun, you should be having fun and things like that. And that all makes sense. But sun like sickness is real, and
yeah, it's very bad for your brain.
It's really bad for you. Very bad. So try not to get sick when you're out there.
Yeah, because it's literally cooking your brain. Your brain juices is getting hot, and then it's so bad for like over time, like years and years and years go by. The damage it causes is so bad.
Well, it's also really like it's a lot harder too if you have darker hair. I have black hair, and I mean it's not thick, but it's black hair, and it just absorbs all that heat and all that light, and it's really hard. And that's why I feel like I overheat easier than other people, which is why I'm not gonna lie, I've considered dyeing or bleaching my hair for the summer just so I don't have that problem. But I mean that's also costly, and maybe I'll just stay indoors. I don't know.
Yeah, for some people, like, depends on also your body chemistry as well. Like, for someone like me, my body is just like always super hot. It's like a furnace all the time. And
So you get hot easily.
yeah, even when I'm outside for not too long, the sickness will start coming on like pretty fast. So I always have to like keep a close watch over that. And a lot of people out there too, like, your body just runs naturally so hot, and that puts you at like such a disadvantage for people who are like always cold. Like my mom is someone who's just always cold.
Yeah, I'm always cold too, actually. So
You're always warm.
no, like I always feel cold, but like my body isn't cold. You know? What I
Yes,
mean?
this is true.
Yeah. So I don't know, like, but this is why when I see people just by the waterfront or like by the beach, who are just baking in the sun, I'm like, one, you are literally burnt to a crisp right now. That's not good for your skin. But also, two, your brain is probably hurting right now because you're probably like really, really sunsick right now and you just don't even know it.
Yeah, you don't even know it until later when you feel.
Yeah, and that worries me sometimes because so many people here do that, and I'm like, man, at least put on some sunscreen maybe so you don't have this huge sunburn.
Yeah, for locals, I'm less worried about them because, of course, living on a coastal city, that's kind of what you grow up knowing. But like tourists come here all the time from everywhere.
Yeah.
Like far off countries, like the US, everywhere, different parts of Canada.
Far. US.
I said other countries, far off countries. A lot of like German, British, Scottish, from the UK. A
But
lot
yeah,
of
I don't know, man.
tourists.
Like sunscreen, bathe in sunscreen.
Yeah. Should always be protected. But yeah, so that's excited for Canada Day and the parade. Parades, man. There's this regulation in our city these days. Definitely probably not in the big cities. I don't see how it could be a thing, but some cities are starting to do this, and it does make sense. Well, kind of. In their
What
eyes,
is
it
it?
makes sense. But so what it is when you have like the lead car or your pilot car for your entry in the parade or your float, and then you have walkers who are like giving out candy and stuff like that. So here in Campbell River, it doesn't make any sense, and it's just so dumb, is that you can't throw candy for kids to grab. You have to pass it out hand to hand for every single kid. And you can imagine how difficult it is for everyone. And a lot of people have just completely stopped it because it's honestly impossible to do.
Right.
But they don't want kids running out, grabbing candy in the streets where like the vehicles, horses, like animals get spooked, like that kind of stuff. Like
I guess that makes sense, but also
it does, but it's so impossible. It's just an endeavor in just something that's never going to work.
Yeah, I think it's just more of a
Practically.
safety issue because if you're passing out like suckers as well, where it has a stick, like just like sticking out of it, that's also like hard because then you could poke someone's eye out, right? If you throw it out.
Well, no. You don't throw candy out at people. You throw it on the ground and it scatters. You don't throw it at people, like into the
Oh.
crowd.
Okay, well. Yeah, that's kind of dumb.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
Yeah,
But
that's
so
weird.
yeah, last year in the parade, we had two. I was one of the people who were passing out, and the person who used to have your job, so you'll be there with me this year. We literally sprinting the entire time, try to keep up with the parade, but also pass out like tens of thousands, like to every single kid in the parade. It was the worst. It was like doing a 5-mile sprint. It was.
Oh no.
It's a lot of fun though, at least.
Are you sure? Because if I have to do any rigorous like physical activity like sprinting, I don't know how fun that is. I just don't have enough energy for that.
Not
Also,
only
like-
is it that, but it's already like we've been out in the heat for
Yeah,
like 10 hours
right,
at that
right,
point. Because
exactly.
our parade in Campbell River, which is another really weird thing that
it
they
doesn't
do.
start until in the afternoon.
Yeah, it's not until like 5 or
3 p.m.,
3
yeah.
p.m. Most of them it's like 9, 10 in the morning.
Yeah.
Not until 3 p.m. So you've been
That's so
outside for like
weird.
10 hours or not 10 hours, but like 5 hours
Yeah.
already.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if I'm like looking forward to that part. And again, like I'm such a noodle. Like I just I can't do physical activities. I don't know.
It wouldn't be so bad if we had the staff for it, but because all of our
There's
staff
only a handful
leave.
of us. Yeah.
Well, and even that, like all of them leave for the long weekend, so they don't make it to the parade. So there's only a couple of us, and it's just
Right.
it's
a
always
mess.
really difficult to manage.
Wow. That sucks.
but at least it's going to be a lot of fun. So, going on to recommendations, we are running so late as always. We actually, for the first time ever, watched an incredible movie that came out last year or the year before.
Late last year.
Late last year?
Yeah.
Okay. The Greatest Showman. I love it so much.
Oh, not late last year, 2 years ago.
I love it so much.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's about P.T. Barnum,
yeah.
played by, of course, Hugh Jackman, incredible actor, and
So-so
the
singer, but a great actor.
Yeah, the whole, I guess his whole life, it
was just amazing.
It's phenomenal from the acting. I disagree. I think Hugh Jackman is a great singer. I think he handles himself very well. And he is awesome. The acting, incredible. The set designs, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Costume design, amazing.
The music was
the
amazing.
compositions, incredible.
I mean, of course, there's a lot of artistic license that they took from this because, you know, like sideshow circus and just like circus in general, like back then was cruel. Right. And it wasn't, it was just not.
Yeah, it's
humane.
romanticizing
yes, it's very
a little bit because they do go into it, like the themes come up without spoiling it, but it's also like it's a misrepresentation, of course, the real life story of him. But like for a movie, it was incredible.
Yeah, for a movie, it's incredible, but also it like comes out with really good messages, like really encouraging, empowering messages, which I think is cool. And yes, I understand that that's, you know, not how their lives actually went, and that's not really what P.T. Barnum was like, you know, an encouraging kind of like father figure, but still, like, it was a really good movie. And like, again, the music, the lyrics were absolutely amazing and just like stunning music and, you know, just amazing. So I really liked it. But I will say though, when it first came out, it was such a, like, it was a very hyped up movie. When it first came out, and all my friends had seen it. I didn't, but this was coming off of like Les Mis, and as we all know, Hugh Jackman, Russell Crowe, Anne Hathaway, like they were all in that movie, and the only like shining moment there really was Samantha Burks, who was actually like, she plays Eponine, and she's like amazing because she is, you know, a West End like actress and singer, but like. So that's where kind of like my hesitation came from, because Hugh Jackman sings in that movie. And he wasn't that great. And then, so even here, like, I hold my, like, opinion that he's so-so, but it was a good movie, so whatever.
It was incredible. It pains me so much. Yeah, I'm not a fan of musicals, like, for the most part.
Musicals are great.
But for one to, like, skyrocket to the top of, like, my favorite movie list, that's got to be a recommendation right there.
And I guess music favorites too, because you've been listening to the soundtrack for so long.
It's so bizarre because like not even is the original soundtrack in the movie incredible, and some parts they do it better, but in the reimagined soundtrack where they get huge artists to basically reimagine their songs, they are for the most part incredible, like absolutely incredible as well. So it's so hard because I love both versions. I don't think I could pick a favorite.
Yeah.
But
The Greatest Show.
It's just there's no bad songs in it.
Yeah,
there's
The Greatest Show.
None.
That Panic at the Disco like covered.
Phenomenal.
Absolutely stunning. So good.
Yeah, if you haven't heard it, go listen to that song. It's called The Greatest Show by Panic at the Disco.
Yeah,
YouTube it,
really
Spotify,
good.
whatever.
Yeah.
Go listen to it right now.
But no, just the entire
Both albums are just incredible. They're not only are they great songs in their own right, but the writing for them was just so much more in depth than it usually is, and now in music these days.
Oh, A Million Dreams. Pink covers it in the reimagined album. It's so good.
I think my favorite from the reimagined album is Max, and I think it's Ty Dolla $ign.
Yeah. The Other Side.
Yeah. Oh,
so good.
Incredible song.
So good.
But that's gonna be it for this week's podcast, because running quite late, and we got to go celebrate in a few hours here.
Woo!
Canada Day!